Game pick time for Ohio State versus Penn State. We were all wrong. We all said Ohio State would cover against Rutgers, and they did not. So, congratulations to the Fighting Scarlet Knights, who lost by fewer than 52.5 points last week. 18-point spread. 18-point spread for the Fighting Nittany Lions and the Fighting Buckeyes. Ohio State favored again, 10-0, number 2 versus number 9. Nathan Baird, what's your pick?
I'm taking Ohio State 33-14. The 21 points that Rutgers scored last week, it was 42-7 when they pulled the starters. People, I think, were making a little too much about Rutgers being able to score 3 touchdowns last week. I think Ohio State's defense having to play a full game, which I think they will. I think this is still going to be a relatively competitive game into the fourth quarter. I just still see a big differential in these two teams' performance this season. I think Ohio State's still better, especially on defense. I don't see Penn State, especially if any of its guys are compromised at all health-wise, its best guys being able to move the ball consistently against Ohio State.
So that's a cover.
That is a cover.
You're taking Ohio State minus the points. Barely. You're going to be sweating that out a little bit. Stephen Means.
I'm really annoyed you went first. My score is 34-14. 34-14. I think at some point it's going to be 14-7 Ohio State, and then Ohio State's going to have that moment where they kind of take over the game, and that's where they're going to win the game at. So, 34-14. That's covering by literally one more point than what Nathan is covering by.
Again, I don't – the way you guys have talked about this game all week and sort of like just dismissing the fact that it would be competitive, I'm surprised that you're both picking like barely to cover. I thought the way you guys talked about this all week, you'd be more like 42-10 or something. But that's fine. You get a short time, we got to keep the videos short. You get a small time to explain what's going on.
Well, like I said, if 33-14 means it could also be 26-14 with 6 minutes to go, and Ohio State scores late.
Which would be
a competitive game.
Which is what, but that's not how you've talked about this all week.
I think it's exactly how we've talked about it all week. We haven't talked about this game as if it's going to be a 40-point blowout. But we also haven't talked about it as a game where I think Ohio State's going to have to go down and make a play in the last couple minutes in order to pull out a 1-point win like they have the last couple of years.
If the score is 10-0 at some point, 10-7 at some point, and then Ohio State outscores them 24-7 for the rest of the game.
You think Penn State's going to lead in this game?
No, I'm saying that if Ohio State is up 10-7.
Okay, all right, I'm done. You guys have talked about it like you just think it's an easy game for Ohio State. You have.
I think 33-14 is a pretty comfortable margin of victory.
That's a win.
31-24. It's a game into the fourth quarter. It's going to rain. I don't know how that's going to affect it. I think it's a game at halftime. I think it's a game at the end of the third quarter. It's not a 1-point margin like the past 2 years, but it's a 7-point margin that it's competitive throughout. And it's it ends up looking like a good win, I think, for Ohio State because it reminds people that Penn State is good. But for a team that has won every game this year by at least 24 points, this will be a test. Now they're mad at me. See, it's good. It's good when they get mad. You can see the anger in their eyes. I can't see it out of the side of my thing.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
I can't see it, see?
You're just wrong.
See? See you later at cleveland.com.